We saw two performances in the playoffs yesterday from teams that their fans should start being worried. The Nuggets got completely exposed, and the Knicks, they're finding new and creative ways to lose. On today's episode, we're going to talk about what is going on with the Nuggets and the Knicks, and can they correct it? Or are they going to get upset in these series? We'll talk about all that plus more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the content for today, y'all. The Denver Nuggets, man. I want to start off talking about the Denver Nuggets, who lost 113-96 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves were led in scoring by Ayo Dosunmu in this game, who they just acquired from my Chicago Bulls. At the trade deadline, he's been absolutely filling it up there with them. And if Ayo keeps this up and re-signs with the Minnesota Timberwolves, you probably got a 6-man of the year candidate on it. 10 of 15 from the field, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. He also chipped in 9 rebounds to go along. 9 assists to go along with the 3 rebounds as well in that game. It was just a great game from him, right? Especially in the game where Anthony Edwards only had to score 17 on 15 shots. But we got to talk about the Denver Nuggets aspect of this. Like, what is going on with the Nuggets? They now find themselves down 2-1 in this series with another game in Minnesota before they go back to Denver. And if Minnesota wins game 4 and goes up 3-1, it's done. It's a wrap. And the Denver Nuggets are going to have to figure it out. Now, typically, I would look at this with the Denver Nuggets and say, all right, well, it's Jokic. Jokic is always going to play well. But, it's really the two things that are concerning me a lot in this series is actually Jokic and Jamal Murray, for that matter, right? Look at Jamal Murray. And you look at it, 5 of 17 from the field for 16 points. That doesn't necessarily look the worst, right? But then you figure out he went 0 of 5 from the three-point line. That's not that. Leaving points on the board, it's not good, right? Then you look at Nikola Jokic, 7 of 26 from the field, 2 of 10 from three-point range. He did get to the free throw line 11 times and did score 11, 15 rebounds, 3 assists. The stat line looks good. But when you actually go and look at the efficiency of it, that's what stands out. Like, when you look at how good Jokic has been for his whole career, right? He is one of the most, I don't want to say unstoppable. He's just such a fluid player that he's always efficient when it comes down to it. And the Denver Nuggets in this series so far, they look at last night's game. They were held to 11 points in the first quarter. There's some questions that they were even going to score in double figures in the first quarter. Outscored 68-34 in the paint. Their offensive system has just not been anything, and a big part of that is Jokic, right? There is a Jokic problem right now with this team. 27 points on an inefficient 26 shots. He was forced into trying to be in a volume scorer, which isn't when it comes down to it. And I just think that right now, like, you're seeing Jokic settle for shots that we just don't usually see Jokic settle for. He needs to get in the paint, and he needs to go to work. He needs to put the pressure on this Minnesota Timberwolves defense. And it almost seems like, and I hate to say this, like, does Rudy Gobert low-key have Jokic shook? Like, what is it? Can't be that, right? Like, what is going on here? Is it that the Denver Nuggets are in their head when it comes to the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that's beat them before? Like, what is going on here? I don't know. But, they're not only getting outcoached, right? They're getting outperformed. And a big part of it, you got to look at the MVP, and that's Jokic. Yeah, I'm not saying he's the MVP this year, the former MVP, and the fact that he has just been so inefficient in this series, I just don't, it's hard to defend the way that Jokic is playing right now. I don't know if it's frustration. I don't know if he's dealing with something. This is one of those situations where we're going to hear later down the road that he had an injury that he was dealing with or something like that. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know right now is looking at Jokic so far in this postseason. He is averaging 25 points, which is really good, but he's doing that on 40% shooting from the field. You're talking about a player that shot the ball almost 57% from the field. He shot 57% in game 1, but then he shot 40% in game 2, 26% last night in game 3. You're going to need Jokic to perform much better. So that 25, 14, and 7 that he's averaging, that looks good if you're just looking at the stat sheet. But when you watch these games, you can see Jokic just isn't Jokic. But he's not the only problem on this team, because Jamal Murray also has been absolutely disappearing. The 5 of 17 shooting, the 0 of 5 from three-point line, he has absolutely no offensive rhythm at all in this series so far. And you got to wonder, like, is it something collective that's going on here with this Denver Nuggets team? Like, And the Nuggets need to get this together because we know ownership does not pay the repeater tax when it comes down to it. And if they do not, go far in this playoffs, you're probably going to see them, not retain or trade away a lot of their pieces. And they're going to go back to what they were, after they won a title and lost a lot of their depth. They're going to go back to that, right? So, you got to get it together. And a big part is those two guys I'm looking at. It comes down to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic just has to be better. Like I said, the counting stats look good until you get into the nitty-gritty of it. Like, even Jamal Murray's averaging 25 points in this series so far, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. But then when you look at the fact he's shooting 35% from the field, 22% from the three-point line. Like, this is not the usual performance that we're used to seeing from these two guys. And if this doesn't stop soon, it's just going to continue to get uglier and uglier and uglier. And that's where Denver Nuggets fans need to worry at, because not only the Nuggets have been in a situation like this before. They've been in a situation even when they've gotten blown out in the game. This isn't the first time in Jokic's career that this has happened, right? But usually when that happens, you're still looking at them saying, well, hey, listen, Jamal Murray and Jokic did X really well. We'll build off that into the next game or do whatever. You don't have any of that in this game right now. There is no building off anything. There is no rhythm. This just feels like a team that just, I don't even know what to say. And I'm so surprised to be saying that about this team specifically. Like, I just did not expect it, that if we had problems with the Denver Nuggets, that it was going to be Jokic and Jamal Murray who stand out the most. But like I said, it's not them either. Christian Braun, that's going to have to step up. Peyton Watson's out so far. We don't know when he's going to return right now. You look at, Aaron Gordon and what's going on there as well. Like, you need somebody else to step up. And this just goes to show why team is so important in this. Like, when you're talking about building a team, especially in the 7-game series, it does come down to the team aspect. You need all pieces firing on all cylinders almost at all times if you're going to get back in games like this. And right now, the Nuggets are on their heels in this series. I fully believe, and we'll see if they can get it back. But, Cam Johnson isn't giving you much. Aaron Gordon's not there. Peyton Watson's not there. And I don't know if they're going to come back in this series with enough before the momentum gets completely taken away from them if they don't stop the bleeding here soon. They need a win in Game 4, a big win in Game 4, a statement win almost, to clear out some of the bad energy that's been around this team, at least in my opinion. And we're going to see if they're going to be able to do it. But Christian Braun has not been able to step up, and you're missing some key guys in regards to it. So we'll see what's going to happen here. I think right now when you look at it as well, the blueprint that the Nuggets typically like to get through, it's not working out. And it seems like Chris Finch is out coaching the Denver Nuggets coach. Like, he's just out coaching them. And so, we're going to see what's going to happen in regards to that. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below on this. When it comes to the Denver Nuggets, what has been the most surprising thing that stood out in a negative way about this team and how they've performed in the playoffs so far? Let me know that down below. But they're not the only team. The New York Knicks had another collapse. Had a late lead against the Atlanta Hawks, right? Of course, the shot clock violation is what a lot of people are going to talk about. Turnovers at the end of the games coming from Jalen Brunson. And it really just starting to be that there's a pattern that's starting to be formed here with this New York Knicks team. And that pattern is they can't execute for shit. I mean, just to be frank, they cannot execute for shit consistently. And as long as that keeps happening for this team, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next if they can't get it together. Because you look at the stat sheet, 29 points from OG Anunoby, cool. 21 points from Karl-Anthony Towns, cool. Jalen Brunson, 26 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. Cool little stat line there. 15 points from Miles McBride. But then you got to look at Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges does he realize that the playoffs have started? Is he actually turning up? Because right now, Mikal Bridges, through the first 3 games of the series, is averaging 7 points with 36% shooting from the field, 25% shooting from 3. He's just not. 1 assist, one rebound per game. Mikal Bridges is not having any type of impact on this series right now at all. Now, I'm not blaming it all on Mikal Bridges, because my boy, as much as I love Jalen Brunson, and I do love Jalen Brunson, is that, Jalen Brunson is just missing in one-possession games, missing key shots. And we're talking about a player in Jalen Brunson that has played at an MVP level sometimes. But right now, you're looking at, it's just complete chaos that's going on right now with the New York Knicks. And, not to say that every player always needs, there's never going to be a situation where players sometimes don't disappoint in the clutch. But Jalen Brunson right now is selling, and it's not good right now. you look at what we're getting. CJ McCollum with another 23 points. You got 24 from Jalen Brunson, from Jalen Johnson, almost a triple-double from him. He was 2 assists away from a triple-double. He also had 2 steals and a block. But, 21 points from Jonathan Kuminga coming off the bench also. It would be nice if you got that level of production somewhere from the New York Knicks. But as it stands right now, there is a pattern here that the New York Knicks just can't perform and do what they need to do down the stretch of games. And therefore, despite whatever leads there, what anything else is happening, the Atlanta Hawks are going to have confidence because the New York Knicks are crumbling. If you punch them in the face, they wither away, they thank you for it, and right now there's a problem. There's so much blame to go around with this, right? The late game struggles from Jalen Brunson. Mikal Bridges with 0 points. Josh Hart has not been efficient at all in this series as well. So you're going to need something from one, and ideally both of those guys, if you're going to want to get yourself out of this hole now that you're dug into. Yeah, you got the 40 minutes from Josh Hart, which is really good to see. But Josh Hart also in this series so far has been hugely disappointing. He's averaging 9.3 points per game after averaging 12 points per game during the season, but shooting the ball 35% from the field and 10% from 3. And I want to be clear here, like, you got to give some credit to the defense of the Atlanta Hawks, absolutely, and what they've been able to do there. So you can't overlook that. But at the same time, these are two teams that now in the New York Knicks and the Denver Nuggets that find themselves as the higher seeded team that are down 2-1 in the playoffs. That's tough for anybody to overcome. So I don't know if it's a mental thing versus an execution thing for the New York Knicks or what needs to happen there, if it's a coaching thing and structure. If the New York Knicks get eliminated in the first round, Mike Brown's going to get fired. They're probably going to hire Billy Donovan. Then you're probably going to see, at least one major change to something on this team to give it just a different mix and a look out. Like, I think that you're just at that point where you may have to expect that. And that's just the reality of the situation. So, these are it's just been so disappointing from these two teams. And, hopefully they can get it back together, because I tell you what, with them being down 2-1 and on the road now in the series, if they can't win game 4, I don't know if they can dig themselves out of this hole. And we've seen teams come back down from 3-1 before, but it's not ideal, and it's definitely not a situation that you want to put yourself into. Even the Cleveland Cavaliers losing to the Toronto Raptors yesterday, but at least that happened. The Cleveland Cavaliers are still up 2-1 in that series, right? So that's why I don't have them as, even though that was a disappointing performance to get blown out by 22 points, in your first game on the road, but it's not the same because the nature of the other two series just is at a place where I do think it can completely get away from these teams. And I did not expect it from both these guys. I did pick the Atlanta Hawks to be on upset watch so they can get over the New York Knicks, but I thought it would be a little bit more interesting. The Knicks are selling. The Denver Nuggets have no rhythm. These are two teams that I think, with the way that their salaries caps set up, the way that their roster set up, they are definitely win-now teams. Not to say that they're going to completely tear it down in the offseason. I'm not expecting that, but we already seen, sometimes you just miss your window. You just miss your window, whether it's with the roster, whether it's with a coach, whether it's with the player. You just miss that window. And I think that you could be looking at both these teams to make considerable changes to their rosters if they sit here and get eliminated in round 1. But let me know what you guys think on all of that down below. Am I selling? Am I overblowing it? Should they be okay? Are the Nuggets, do you still view them as real contenders? Is Jokic being forced kind of out of this game by the game plan of the Minnesota Timberwolves? And what the hell is wrong with the New York Knicks late in game? And can they correct it enough to still win this series? Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel as well, hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode or an upload. You can follow us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything NBA and basketball related. And I'll catch you guys the next time I feel like making a video, probably tomorrow. Peace, y'all.
Been a presentation of the Breaks Media.